welcome, family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is I, Dr. Abraham. If you don't know who I am, I'm the president and CEO of MEA Consulting Services, LLC. We're one of the fastest growing consulting companies in the country, and we specialize in training leaders to lead with a primary focus on increasing graduation rates for young men of color. It is my visceral belief that young men of color can graduate high school at 80, 90, and 100%. It is possible. It can happen in your school, it can happen in your district, and it can happen for you. Folks, I'm so excited to announce we have a book that's coming out that will be out in the summertime, titled What Success Looks Like, Strategies to Increase Graduation Rates for Young Men of Color. And it will be published by Rowman & Littlefield, one of the largest publishers in the country. And it's going to be a phenomenal book. The book is giving principals, superintendents, teachers, leaders, real practical strategies, 10 steps to increase school performance for our young men of color, which have the lowest graduation rates in the country. So folks, here we are together again, and I'm continually providing you with content so that you can be successful through this pandemic, that you can finish off the year strong. So every week I'm providing you with content after content after content. And we're in a situation right now with this pandemic and bringing students back into school, and everybody's in a frenzy. Everybody is saying, we don't want to go back to school, it's unsafe, we have problems, the ventilation is not there yet. We listened to the CDC and the science when they said that we needed to shut the school down in March. But now that the CDC is saying that we need to come back to school, we can't trust the CDC because they vacillated on their position. At least this is what I'm hearing. We can't trust the governors. We can't trust anybody. And that's the position we're in. We're in a position where people do not want to go back inside the building because they're saying it's unsafe. They're saying we can't trust the science. We can't trust anyone. We can't believe anybody if you work in an urban setting to bring teachers and students back into the building. We cannot trust anybody. So what about the CDC? You can't trust the CDC no more. What about the governor? You can't trust the governor anymore. What about the superintendent? You can't trust the superintendent anymore. You can't trust anybody. They're trying to kill us. And I'm not making light of the situation. I'm not saying the situation is a laughing matter. All I'm saying is that we're in a peculiar position right now. We're in a peculiar space. And that space says, what are we supposed to do? And really, I see you. And really, what the issue is, it falls back on the shoulders of the principals and the superintendents and administrators, right? Because the administrators, the principals, you're in the middle of this. You're holding down the fort. You're having to deal with the teachers every single day coming into your class, in your office and emailing you, and the union issues, right? And principals, I really want you to be aware of where we are currently in the climate of the country, right? Like, we cannot pretend as if none of this is going on, right? Like, if you're a principal of a high school, principal of a middle school, principal of an elementary school, you really have to address these issues head on, right? Like, we can't be like aloof to like what's really going on in the country right now. Like we really gotta say, hey, yeah, over 500,000, I believe the last report, over 500,000 people died of COVID. You gotta address that. Over 14 million people and counting are facing eviction. You gotta address that. Over 65% of black and brown families saying that they do not have the necessary resources to come back to put food on the table for their children. We have to talk about that. I spoke to a head of a hospital the other day, and they said usually the hospital they have is for young people that have cancer, but now their hospital is full with young people who are committing or under suicide ideation watch. They're looking to commit suicide. Principals, you gotta address that. You gotta address the concerns of your teachers. We gotta address what's actually going on. And with everything that's going on, and all the issues that's happening, the doors are open to the kids, the doors are open to the teachers. So the question is, administrators, what do we do? How do we bring our teachers back safely? How do you bring the students back safely? And when I say safe, I am not simply talking about just alone the CDC guidelines. Anybody that runs a school knows that there's rules and regulations that got to get put in place, but there's a huge social emotional piece that has to be addressed also. That huge social emotional piece has to be looked at. And as a principal and a school leadership team, I'm talking to you, I read a study the other day that said principals, there's not enough research on principals and the impact they make on student achievement. I've been screaming this for the last 2 years. Principals are second with regards to student achievement to teachers. The teacher has the biggest impact on student achievement, but second to the teacher is the school administrator. One of the biggest things for a principal, to have a successful school is the school has to feel safe. The school has to feel like a school that people want to go to. So folks, we're here. I'm talking to you. And I'm giving you strategies right now to in a pandemic to increase student achievement. Here's one strategy I would say. That if I'm a principal right now, here's one thing that you have to understand. You have to understand, and I say this and I beat you up with this. You have to understand your data. You have to know your data. You have to be very familiar with all of the data in your school. It is not enough for you just to understand last year's graduation rate. Like, that's not enough to just understand last year's graduation rate. You at this point, you should know what your graduation prediction is going to be. What your graduation rate prediction is going to be right now. So, as a principal, what you want to do is you want to have a sit down with your school counselors, school social workers, teacher leader, and not just teacher leader, the person who has a big voice, like somebody who's actually people taking the time and spending it with me. You could be any place else, but you decided to be here with me. We talked today about really what to do in spite of a pandemic to have success in your school. Leaders, it is on you for your school to be successful. We're depending on you. We need you. If you need some assistance, if you need my help, call me, text me, email me, Facebook message me, Instagram me. I am here for you. I want to see you be successful. I have the strategies. to make you successful. There's no reason why a school should be failing when we have all of these resources necessary. Hey, thank you for spending time with me. I love you. Thank you for the shares and the reshares. Thank you for the subscriptions. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Until next time, this is Dr. Mark Abraham. Peace.